All right, thank you so much for still tuning in to Morning at NTV as we continue on seeing and sieving through the political landscape, especially now that we are counting hours to the parliamentary nominations for the general elections 2026. It's our Kickstarter, and we get to look at advancing women in politics as well as leadership. The backbone of it is that nearly for 30 years now, the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action did call for balancing of political participation between men and women. Now, Uganda has made some visible strides, but still is grappling with uneven power structuring. Now, while gender quotas have actually boosted representation, especially with the affirmative action, we have questions that are still pending when it comes to influence, when it comes to women and accountability, when it comes to the equality or as far as legislation is concerned. Now, particularly as a country, Uganda, we're heading into the general elections, but tomorrow the Electoral Commission, starting tomorrow, is going to be busy. It's going to be a beehive of activities with members of parliament wanting, or candidates, aspirants at this point actually. When they are nominated, that's when they will become candidates. They're all moving left, right and center to ensure that they are nominated by the Electoral Commission. Now, for our dear women that are participating in this particular level of elective politics, where do they stand? So we're here to have an analysis of what has been the women's contribution to our politics as a country. So this edition of our Kickstarter is here to examine Uganda's democratic health through the lenses of women's leadership, women's representation, as well as women's expectations. I am Priscilla Regina Naluoga. Delighted to be having a panel of women that we're going to be having this discussion with. To my immediate left, I do have Madame Agnes Namaganda. She is a politician and she is one that is all about women's rights, and she's an advocate. But also she has a track record of ground mobilization.
Yes, thank you so much, Madame Naluoga. Thank you so much, our viewers on NTV. My name is Agnes Namaganda, and I've contested twice. I'm a politician, but I'm also a women's rights advocate. I've contested twice for the NUP flag in National Unity Platform in 2021 and in 2026. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you. We also do have Honorable Hanifah Karadi here. She's also a politician and she's a very good advocate for inclusive governance. So you have seen her. It was a tough first quarter of the year, but she has come out strong, a strong stance on legislative reforms, especially when it comes to empowering women and youth. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Madam Naroga, and good morning, our viewers. I want to thank women out there who have made it, who have come out to stand and show that women are there and women can add value. And I want to say good morning to the people of Kawempe North.
Okay, all right. So speaking on that note and staying right there, walk us through, as a woman being active in Uganda's politics, what was it like for you to come, especially on a direct card in Kawempe in North by elections?
Thank you so much.
What were the opportunities and the challenges?
Yes. Women, when we get to the history of how women in Uganda have come up, there are several processes that this government has put in place on women emancipation. It is largely seen as if when you're in politics, it's when you're seen as your rights being put across. But there are other things that women go through, the cultural constraints, the economic empowerment, domestic rights, reproductive rights, a number of them. But particularly getting back to your question on my particular experience as in coming out and stand in politics. First of all, I was not standing on a women ticket as a woman MP, no, but I was standing as what they call direct seat. So that one, we still have challenges as women, because when we come up, they're like, women, you have your seat. You have your separate seat as a woman member of parliament. But we come up to show that this is what it actually means to be emancipated, to show that there is equality, that what a man can do, I can even do it even much better, because we have seen women do much better, because our approaches are different. We look into much more of humanity, of concerns that really affect our people, our common man, the families, the children. We generally take concern of issues that actually build a general aspect of humanity. Therefore, the reason some of us come up and say no, okay, let women stand there. May I come up to stand as a leader? So the challenges we have in that is they still say there is a woman seat, so you are not supposed to sit to stand on this very seat. And also, as you compete with these men, people are saying you are competing with men. You are not competing with the position. So you find, to put that, you must work so hard to explain yourself, to put a unique manifesto, to strain yourself in physical, and it takes a lot, as a woman. After all, but I always tell the public and women out there and the public that women are multitaskers. The reason I had to make it through in Kawempe, much as I didn't make it as a member of parliament, but I know there is a mark. There is a mark I left, and I still do, because of that uniqueness that as women we have, or how we look at things.
Okay, all right. That's your testimony. Agnes, what is your testimony? Ever since you decided to put your foot outside your home and say, from this day forth, I'm going to be an active participant in the politics and democracy of my country.
Yes, I must say, our viewers and Madam Priscilla, that I've always wanted to join politics, and I must say that when I did, it changed everything about, especially my family. As women, we know that our greatest satisfaction, by the way, is in being mothers and also being wives. It gives a great sense of fulfillment for many women, primarily. But I knew that I'm also called into politics. I just knew, I've always known that I'm called into leadership. So, and I must say that when I entered maybe marriage, I'd already had this discussion with my spouse that at some point I would be engaging in politics. However, at that time when I was making the decision to step in, it wasn't very welcome. And I was here telling Madam Priscilla before we started that I was listening to Madam Charity Ahimbisibwe, our sister who is supposed to be on this show, one day on some media platform, and she was saying that they were asking her that what if she got an opportunity to stand, to become active in politics, like become a member of parliament, and she was bringing out very clearly that much as she's heading an entity that is political in nature, that her spouse had already told her that she, for now, since she has young children, she cannot cross into active politics. So I must say that one of the hindrances for women stepping into politics is the perception that when they go out there, either the family is going to be fragmented, they're not going to be able to handle the challenges that come with that kind of assignment. So women face a challenge of not having the support of their families. It is considered that outside there, someone is in the trenches. So because they're in the trenches, the woman's stamina may not be able to uphold her there. And of course, we have stories like recently that testimony that ran in the media. There was this woman, a parliamentarian, who was saying that she lost her family, she lost her marriage, because when she went in parliament, there were opportunities, she was sleeping with all these men, and then she lost her marriage, she lost her family, so she was crying. So we can see that those kinds of testimonies, when they come out...
That's Nabida.
Really? I didn't really. It was Nabila. I didn't get to know the person who wrote me. I just saw the story making rounds on social media. But then what I'm saying is that when these kinds of stories come out, families, spouses, our husbands are scared that if we go out there, we are going to become those kinds of testimonies. So you asked about my testimony. So on my side, since 2021, when I decided to go into politics to stand for the Kampala Woman MP on the National Unity Platform flag bearer as National Unity Platform flag bearer, that ended my marriage. And that was it, by the way, because I was told that I had to choose.
Even after you had had discussions prior with your partner, that you will have
before I even entered marriage, I'd had this discussion. I'd said that at some point, the way you see me here, maybe I'm come and all, but at some point I'm going to enter into politics. But when the time came to cross over, it was not accepted. It wasn't accepted. So I must say that women, that is one of the challenges, because it hits at the heart of a woman, because our very nature is to nurture, to have children, because that is our primary calling as women. We are called to get fulfillment out of family, out of successful families, and when that is challenged, you find that many women are going to stay away from politics. Charity
Ahimbisibwe finally joins this panel, and Charity, to put you on the hotspot, Madam Namaganda here was actually testifying about you and the comment that she had you speak earlier on, in your quest for being active in politics, governance and democracy, how you found a roadblock, a family roadblock that hindered you from, your most desired fulfillment when it comes to political participation. Talk to us about that as you join us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Naloga, and a very good morning to all our viewers. And I think I was excited to hear her give her direct testimony. Many times women cannot even sit on TV to say these things, but it is very important that we talk about them. So of course I have young children, and I have said it many times. As soon as I said I can at least be a councillor and then end up being, I first wanted to go through the mayor, deputy mayor, or at least the mayor seat, and then eventually come as a member of parliament. I was told, my friend, your children are young. And I said this the other day while we were in a conference. Say, your children are young. Why are you going into this political space? Because every time women go into the political space, their homes have to be shattered. And it is true. I'm now happy that there's one was sold. It's not only one. Even Shamim Malende of Kampala right now is going through the same thing. You've seen the way they have reported about her. They don't even care to know her side of the story. They just keep presenting different sides of the story. She was found in a hotel, so she came back from Nairobi, so the man dumped her, so her father died. So, and they don't care. All these are sentiments that have been put out there. So you see, by the time you choose to go into the political space as a woman, you better have a thick skin like a crocodile, because you're going to be really attacked. You're going to be attacked, like she said, by your family. You're going to be attacked by the very people who you thought would give you a shield, including your uncles, including your brothers and your sisters. Just a few brothers of yours or sisters of yours will understand that you actually have to grow. That, I mean, the country cannot only be led by men. If women do not come, then what? Then who? Right now, if you look at Kenya, for example, now after Raila's death, the Kenyans are saying Dr. Ida Odinga can take them all.
Up.
Yeah, she can step up. The reason they're doing that is because they have seen her with her husband and they've seen her know how to politically organize. Now, until the level of appreciating a woman, and I guess that is one of the reasons why we do not even have a presidential candidate for a woman. And I said it I've said it over and over, and I can't say it again. Because when the women went there, they did not understand the semantics for women. A woman and her gender card have very many issues that come to fore. Some months she'll be sick. I have a friend of mine who went into parliament and has only sat in that parliament for 2 years. The parliament has run for 5 years. You know why? The 3 years she spent them struggling with maternity issues. She got pregnant the first time, she got a miscarriage. The second time, she got a miscarriage. The third time, she was asked to stay on bed the whole 9 months until she gave birth. And when she was given birth, she had to look after the child. So for 3 years, she didn't do anything. Her constituency are asking her,
where
were you? What were you doing? And this is what they're asking. So do you see there's a gender dynamic.
They're asking it from the context of, don't you see the men are doing this?
Exactly, they have already done
this.
this. Yeah. So there is a gender dynamic, and it must be respected. It must be respected by all people. That is why human rights, gender activists like myself do campaign for the rights of women in the political space.
We'll be talking to the rights of women in the political space, advancing women in politics and leadership. So far, we are tilting towards the negatives that have come with women trying to break the glass ceiling of political participation and democracy. Culture being one of them, domestic being the other, reproductive is one that has been re-echoed here on this table, but also the economics of it is another hindrance when it comes to advancing women in political leadership. Now let's just look at the pulse of Uganda's democracy by and large. When we look at ourselves, we're heading into parliamentary nominations starting tomorrow. Many citizens are seeing as if the parliament itself has actually fallen in graces. Why do they say this? In terms of representation, maybe the affirmative card has worked and overworked, but at the same time, are there Ugandans that are actually sending a strong message to strong parliamentarians that are sending a strong message and a strong voice of women being represented in the discussions that are put in the August House, in the acts that are debated about in the August House, in the laws that are passed in the August House? Because all the woman's voice, as you had rightly put it, has a different approach, has a humanity to it, and sees things from different lenses that are more or less not considered in some of the laws and acts that are piled up and picking up dust from the shelves. I'll start with you, Agnes.
Yes, I would like to say that if you look at the participation of women in parliament, I think the women on direct seats are about 16, and what that means is that women are not going for the direct seats. They are mostly staying back onto the affirmative action seats. But again, their participation is also questionable, because at the moment we have several women, and we've seen the president raising several women into positions of leadership. But sometimes I'm tempted to think that maybe these women are being raised into these positions because they are very submissive, they are cooperative, they are peaceful, they are going to give the president an easy time when it comes to making decisions. He's going to be able to push through decisions, because we see that this government has raised several women, especially when it comes to choosing like the ministers, but then you do not feel the weight of what it is that they are doing, both as ministers and as parliamentarians, like you rightly mentioned. So I would like to say that my opinion is that these women, we need to feel them more. So much as there are many, we have many women members in parliament, we are not getting the gist of what it is exactly that they are contributing. And when I'm looking at this issue of women, like we were discussing with you, Priscilla, before the show started, it shouldn't be that the women should just be there to fill the house. We should have women that can actually bring the issues of women out. But if we are going in an election and women present themselves, and then there is all this money being thrown, so that we do not have the right kinds of women that are going for these positions. We have money, we have issues of maybe they have a lot of support from their families and etc. So we don't have the right combination of women that are out there trying to make sure that things are moving in this country. And it makes me think that maybe we should not exactly look at women, but we should look at supporting men to understand women's issues maybe at some point. Because if the men are speaking more and the women are not, even when they're invited, for example, media interviews like right now, they cannot come out to speak. Maybe we need to be taking issues of the women through the men, because the men are coming out, the men are standing on the floors of parliament, the men are making decisions, and I know that maybe our president actually chooses women because he's going to have a softer landing for his whatever it is, whatever policies he has, not going to have a lot of resistance as compared to men. So maybe the issues of women and should be presented before men. I know we need to do a lot of mentorship and etc., but I've seen a lot of mentorship, for example, for women parliamentarians, but most of them don't even turn up to attend these mentorships.
All
yes.
right. Hanifah, through your lenses, when we have this conversation, she's mentioned things that are seemingly weaknesses, submissive, agreeable, peaceful, cooperative. When we see them in the August House, we are literally seeing the same faces of representation that are vocal on many issues in the August House. Why are the other voices silent when they actually were sent to Parliament simply because they convinced a certain constituency of 100,000 people that they can actually come to the August House to advocate for issues?
To me, I see there is a challenge, much as women have been given platforms to come out in Uganda government. They are not prepared to continuously show or come out. And maybe the issue could be back to the women, such people who are advocating for women rights to come up. They need to prepare them very well to teach them, because we still have the issue of inferiority complex. You have said it rightly that when they are in their constituencies, they can talk. And people will choose. Among the 3 women, we have chosen Hanifah Karadi, and Hanifah Karadi will enter Parliament. But her Parliament is another place. So when she reaches in Parliament, now there comes an environment that will intimidate her, an environment that will now compromise her participation. These are issues that come up on silent gender chauvinism. Silent gender chauvinism. It is there. When she enters Parliament, maybe most men there start, advancing on her, and there is a way she will now get off, get off the mission of participating in Parliament. So we still have that by nature maybe, but also these cases of the external, physical, emotional, and as well as failure to continuously mentor these women when they enter Parliament or any other leadership offices that they are given. They are left alone. So this goes back to the women, NGOs or the women activists who come up and say, we are here to protect the women's rights. Yeah. But they are also not doing it. It's a matter of coming here talking. But you can ask them how many times they have even invited women members of Parliament to prepare them. I've not heard, the conferences can be there maybe, but in a way, you can't tell me you're preparing someone in a 2-day workshop. So there is a challenge, there is a missing link that is making us, or making more women fail to participate, to come out with the voice we are all looking at, or we all expect. There is that missing link. But also, when we...
Yeah, but just to hold your school of thought there, no one pretty much mentored you to come into elective politics. No one came to you and said, Hanifah, you can do this except for your family that really, truly believed you. The others were doing kokoro against you.
Yes.
So, the same resistance you found when you were trying to get into elective elective position is the same resistance you're going to find in that very same position you have been given. So why not carry the same vigor, the same voice, the same energy, the same force into sitting?
But I've told you the different environments. The environment is a big factor. Women emancipation or building, first of all, women who are naturally meant, maybe known, these are women supposed to be there, especially in Africa. So we are still in the process of building a woman that we want, a woman that we feel should come up and say and claim the equal rights, and come up and claim or stand on the same table with a man. So we still have a long way to prepare such a woman, such a woman to come up and and be confident enough, because the environment, when I go back,
let me ask you to pause on your thought there. Charity, I see two things here. One is the unspoken cultural expectations that escort women to these places of leadership, especially in public service, whereby, in as much as they've been vocal to get into parliament, they'll have to get there and then there's a certain thing that reminds them, Gundi, oli mukyala, sirikako, weewumbe. Don't say much or you'll be judged differently. And then the other cultural voice that is telling them that you must respect men, you know. So don't over debate them, don't overshake their tables. If you feel like you can hold your breath, just hold your breath. Hence us missing the woman's voice in democracy, the woman's voice in democracy. The other thing I'm also seeing here is that women have found a safe way to play this card. They will keep quiet in parliament, but go back to their constituencies. For example, in Kawempe North, they'll be very active on ground. They'll pay the school fees. They will open up the charity organizations. They will do a lot of groundwork. But what is that groundwork if you're not actually putting your voice to a matter that will affect 45.9 million Ugandans, half of that being women, 53% of that being women. So help me break down that dynamic and how women can go through such barriers to have a voice in democracy.
I think and thank you, Priscilla. I hear my sister Hanifah when she says probably the training is not enough for the women, but I want to say that the women groups have tried. I'll say it for UNET, I'll say it for Women Democracy Group. Because right into the new electoral cycle, women in political parties are fished out. And they're asked, while you were on the political trail, what were the issues that you faced? And they raise the issues. And from the issues they raise, they are tackled right from the start. So Priscilla, you're telling me when they get into parliament, what is it that fails them to raise the issues that are affecting 59% or 53% of women in Uganda? One of the key issues being maternal health, that women are still dying at childbirth. Go to Kawempe Hospital, go to Kasangati Hospital. The other day I just passed by Kasangati Hospital and I found 3 women who had died due to childbirth. I actually wept. Why? Because I thought we were past this issue. This is an issue that women members of parliament would have been raising every parliament. They should have statistics of how many women are dying every year and make it a big issue until when health centers are able to sufficiently support women. But we have not seen it happen. Why? We have a prime minister, we have a VP, we have who else? We have Speaker of Parliament, and all these people are sitting in key positions. We have a DPP who is a woman. We now have a principal judge who is a woman. So we are saying, if they are in these positions and not pushing for justice for the woman, then it means there is something that is drawing them, like you're saying, a comfortable position that is making them forget that they also have an agenda. And when they are called on to, I will tell you that the women movement went into parliament to meet the Speaker of Parliament and raise the issues that were in the Women Manifesto. We have a manifesto that is raised every year. And in that manifesto, we highlight the issues that affect women that we want to be legislated upon. Issues of education, issues of access to information, issues of internet access, like women only access the internet 23%. The rest of the percentage is the men. And these issues are there in the Women Manifesto. Even the issue of maternity health, which I have just talked about, the issue of harassment in schools, the issue of lack of pads for the girls and the expense they are in and them failing to go to school. All those issues are there in the Women Manifesto. And when the women went to meet the Speaker, you know what she told them? She told them, the women movement never helped me to get here. You go and deal with your issues. Don't come here to disturb me. The women movement then moved to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister told them, you've not been so supportive of my political agenda when I was in Kakumiro, Hoima campaigning. So why do you see me arrive here as Prime Minister and now you want to bring your agenda? Now you see, so here is a woman who you would expect that should immediately ally with women agenda, and she's not. And that might be a Ugandan thing. Because I'll tell you that Namibia right now has women in all key offices. The president is a woman, the vice president is a woman, the speaker of parliament is a woman, the leader of opposition is a woman. We have women now scattered all over Namibia. And the agenda is women agenda. How do we make parity a real issue? Yeah. How do we make the country understand that there is a gender dynamic, yes, but we will be careful to support women in leadership.
Okay.
I think that the challenge is back to us as women, that whenever we take the space, we should remember there is an agenda.
Okay, no matter how you've taken the space,
yes.
because now people shouldn't be paying. There's always a Jesus Christ, surely, to every group that needs salvation. We're going to take a short break. We'll return shortly. Well, the debates behind the scenes are actually very intense, and we want to answer some of these things and just ask ourselves, really, as women, why do we have low-hanging fruits that we're looking at as disadvantages instead of advantages? Looking to advancing women in political leadership is where we are this morning, streaming live on ntv.co.ug. That's our website, but equally on Facebook as well as X. You can find the link there. And also, if you're a woman, participate in the comment section and say something. Your voice does matter. The 11th Parliament has about 188 female members of Parliament. This is marking up 33% of the House. It begs the question, has this numerical presence actually translated into any policy win for women in Parliament? Charity.
Has it translated into a policy win? I'm trying to look for one policy this last Parliament that has been a win for women, and I can't see it. Because you see, what are the issues that have come mainly through Parliament? We saw the issue of the coffee bill. Had no woman there, and yet the women are farmers, and they take the biggest aspect of farming. We didn't see them organized in the farming thing. We also saw the UPDF bill coming through Parliament. I'm looking for all the controversial ones and the non-controversial ones. I don't seem to see a woman. We have the petroleum one that came through. What was there for a woman? I don't seem to see anything. And also, you, Matthew Prisla, you also pick the manifestos of these men and see what have they highlighted for the women. They have highlighted unemployment issues for the youth. But the issues of the Women Manifesto are not there in their manifestos. And those are the 8 people standing to be presidents of Uganda. So if the presidents of Uganda are not paying attention to your issues, who's going to pay attention to them?
They're actually more vocal about youth.
Yes, they have the youth, they have unemployment, they have economic issues, they have them. They are there and they are glaring and they're standing up. But the women issues are not there in that manifesto. Not one manifesto. I've looked at 3 manifestos very carefully, even the one of my friend Shamuntu, and it is not raising the issues of women.
So you've looked at
NRM, I've looked at NUP, and I've looked at ANT.
And none of them address women's issues
because
directly.
I thought that these are the 3 leading contenders. I did not waste time with Nandala Mafabi. I read half of it. Most of it was economic based. But even when he talks economic based, he does not consider the woman in that economy. And yet I am saying, majority are women, they are poor, they have a poor financial muscle. So if you want to get out of poverty, the first person you get out of poverty is a woman. Now I had expected that the NRM manifesto, because they already have PDM, they were going to make the thrust of PDM and yoga
30% in the
more skewed to the women to catch up with the GROW project. But I don't see that coming through that manifesto. Now, back to Parliament. So what issue came through for women the last 5 years? Nothing, Priscilla. Nothing on health, when they tried to raise, Sarah Opendi tried to raise the issue of teenage pregnancies, she was shut down, overtaken by events. She dumped the issue, but there was the issue of teenage pregnancies, and she raised it and said there were girls who got pregnant during COVID-19. We need to see them get back to school. She was ignored. Nothing went on. We didn't see anything deliberated on that front. And yet it is a big issue. Many girls are falling out of school for various reasons. Also remember that peer pressure will affect these girls more than it will affect their male counterparts. So I'm looking out for another issue. The issue of pads didn't come back this time. Stella Nyanzi, the one had promised us she was going to raise it and make it a big issue in the other parliament before she flew out.
Instead we had debates about increasing taxation.
Yes,
on
taxation on pads and for adults.
Whereas the counterparts that you're referring to in Kenya, Nairobi, I think one member of parliament actually intentionally had herself
stained herself
was wearing a white suit.
And she made a big issue.
And it was a big issue. It caught a national, ear and eye of everyone, and they realized this is a national issue.
Yes, and they thought about it and deliberated about it. I didn't see that come through. I didn't see it come through. I have seen all types of bills coming, but the agenda for women has failed to make it, and yet the women sit at the top.
We are going into parliamentary elections. Why should we continue putting these women there, even though they have the affirmative card that is readily hanging for them to partake of, but yet we're not seeing them as part of the forefront of issues that are of national importance, and national importance including women.
Of course, much as women have not participated or come out to show what we expect as women, to pull out that voice, we cannot say we don't support them to come to parliament. Actually, we need to support more women to enter parliament.
To do what?
But we need to
members.
We need to prepare.
We have to be realistic. Let me tell you some of the issues. And let me speak from the media perspective.
Yes.
You call a honorable member of parliament, and you know that they actually are vocal on this issue. We don't just call for. You know that Hanifah is very vocal about civic education. You call her for a comment, she says, "Hi, I cannot comment on that." They tell you media will take us wrongly. It will give us a bad picture. It will misinform. The things we didn't say is what they will pick out. You call them, they tell you, "We don't have time. We are busy." Like, there's always an excuse when we're engaging with legislative members, especially for the women. So this affirmative action, in as much as it was intended for good, it seems to be doing us a disservice in turn for the responsibilities that come with our representatives.
Of course, I see your point. I see your emotional point, like all of us have. But we cannot say we stop supporting women to enter parliament. We just have to look for the cause. Why are these women not participating as we expect? Not what are they doing in parliament? How can we, what can we do to make them participate? Because we look at the background. Charity has talked about how this, the background starts from the beginning as a girl child and the culture. So all those should be put in count. That once the missing link I talked about is bridged, it means we shall have a good woman to participate in parliament. So I'm always with an approach that is not radical. I'm always positive that things will change, especially if we now identify the problem. We are here to identify problems, especially the challenges these women, the charities are facing of we putting them on board, bringing women on board, but they are not coming out. They are not coming out to actually get their teachings or get their feel that you people, women, we are trying to help you. We know you have your rights, but rights are supposed to be supported. You need to stand out and talk about what it means.
Hanifah,
and how do you stand out?
You keep making reference to bridging the gap. How can we bridge that gap?
One, bridging the gap, of course, it starts from the girl child, building confidence. The government here comes in. Here where we lack, because the girl child, the moment they call it self-esteem, it is lost. when that beginning of getting the menstruation periods, once she's not supported in that, she loses it from there. The reason he also talked about the Member of Parliament of Kenya standing in Parliament and showing that there is this, meaning it is still a big problem that not only the Ugandan government is lacking, but also in Africa. We still have that problem of building a girl child from the beginning. And to remove that inferiority complex, the cultural thing they are talking about, that the woman, when she enters Parliament, she'll be like, I can't talk a lot before men, so I have to now do what? So we have, much as we are targeting those women in Parliament, you still have a role of now going back to the girl child in schools to support that confidence of a girl child. When she enters Parliament, she will not be that Member of Parliament who will be asked, what is your say on this controversial issue of women? She will come up and talk about it because she has that confidence of supporting a woman from childhood. I'm a woman. I'm a special species. I have a lot of value to add. So once we support a girl child, we shall have supported the woman of the level of Hanifah today. Other than that, that is the missing link that she has asked me about. So we have now to go back and build a girl child. If now this old woman has failed to really come in and understand the teachings of the charities, the preparations of the charities and others, then let us go back down. We don't give up. We keep taking them to Parliament. Those who will come up and say now, no, let us come up and really add change, make a change and add value to what is expected of us. Then, other than that, we shall be doing nothing to prepare a woman.
Okay. Charity, the word human rights, I mean, women's rights has come up quite repeatedly on this table.
Yes.
What are women's rights and how do they get to bank on them?
You see, human rights, according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that's where we start. They are inherent, they are God-given, and they are guaranteed by the state and the Constitution. So we have many of those rights enshrined in the Bill of Rights, which is the Chapter 4 of Uganda's Constitution. And specifically Article 33, we will see Article 78B on affirmative action. We'll see Article 34 and property rights, which I think are key rights. The inheritance and property rights in Article 26. Women have been negated to an ideology of they cannot own property. A woman works very hard with her husband, and then all of a sudden, there's one who died in Wakiso recently. Her and her husband had a home. They produced 2 children. The man got another woman, and once he got this woman, he decided to tell this one, get out of the house. The man said, no, we built this house together, we worked hard together, I'm not supposed to go out of the matrimonial home. Those are rights to property, actually, and the law in Uganda is to the effect that a woman should not leave her home. The home where she lives with her husband, none of them has a right to that home. Not the man, not even the woman. So that man who was throwing her out did not have a right. What he did was to hire people to kill her. And yes, who are they called hooligans, went into the house and hit her, and she died. And he's now going to sell the property because that's what he has been wanting to do. Now you see, those are issues of gender and property rights. And women are entitled to own land or even houses or even wealth just like the men. But in Uganda, it looks like, no, I will own it. I am the man. You can't own it. And that is a wrong perspective. Now, that is a right. Another right, of course, is for them to participate politically. Every time a woman says, I'm going to participate, we have talked about the issues that come with political participation. They will talk about whether you're married, you're not married, you look good on posters, you don't look good. All those things will come up. Now, there's also the rights to education, okay? The right to start a family. It is constitutionally a right. As long as you're 18 years, whether you're a man or a woman, you have that right. So this issue which we talk about, rights and non-discrimination, if we look at the CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of all types of discrimination against women, that instrument, we did ratify it. Now, when you ratify and domesticate a law, it means you believe in what is in that law. That law means that there should be parity for women and men, that women have suffered injustice for so many years, while the men went ahead and achieved in terms of technology, like pilots. How many pilots do we have? But Kenya Airways, do you know how many pilots, women pilots they have? They have 16 women pilots. Our Uganda Airlines, how many women pilots do we have? I've not seen one woman saying, I'm Charity flying you from here up to London. Wow, I wish I could board a plane and here, I'm Charity, I'm going to be your pilot today on Uganda Airlines. I would feel so proud that a woman is flying me home. This Raila was flown by a woman all the way from India to here. They could not trust the men pilots.
It's the most followed real-time flight.
The 54,000. Yes, and there she was. She was the one that was. So it feels very good. You imagine how that feels. So when you see a woman in that space, when we see people like Michelle Obama, when we see people like Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady that led Britain for a very long time, when we see women who have distinguished themselves, when we see the president of Namibia right now, there is something it says to a woman that yes, you can. You too can be there. And when you're there, pull your friends. Don't push them away.
Okay. All right. Agnes.
When she talked about, maybe I come in a bit.
Agnes, we do have, you've been participating in this politics actively for now 4 years. We want to understand what is the cost of politics to a woman, and especially looking into the exercise that's coming up starting tomorrow. What is it going to cost a woman to actively participate competitively in these parliamentary elections?
Yes, we need to first of all appreciate that men have more access to finances, given their leadership role in homes, and the fact that they are more at work when they are when it comes to employment. When I got married, I want to give you an example. I was working with my husband in the same organization, but suddenly I couldn't perform as effectively as he was performing in the organization. Reason being that now I was sick, and now I was expecting a baby, then I was again expecting another, then the baby was sick. So we can see that women may not actually have the access, maybe at the same age. They will not have access to the same kinds of finances because they've been receiving setbacks along their career life like men. So they need a lot of support even from spouses, and I would want to greatly encourage this, because the financial support of the people around you is what will boost a woman, even in terms of confidence, because women are not naturally born leaders, they are born nurturers. Of course, there are women leaders who are very strong, but women need support. Their nature is not that of leadership strongly. There are women who are very good leaders, but generally women need a lot of support in terms of finances and in terms of emotional and moral support from their partners and from the communities and from society. So the election is going to cost women a lot, because we already know that even if you have finances together as a couple, and I would again want to go back to my example. For example, if my ex-spouse had chosen to go into politics, and it would have been easier for him, because suddenly
questions because
they take the money because now we had family finances, but suddenly I was cut off from family finances because the money was going to be wasted. Even right now, if you're approaching people, there is a way they feel that women are going to waste their careers, maybe as politicians, and you do not get the same kind of support. I've seen friends who are men, seeking out for financial support for their campaign trail, and they receive more support. I'm on so many groups. You see them receiving a lot of money to finance their campaigns, and then you see the women not receiving as much unless you're coming from a privileged background or you've already been having a lot of finances on your own as a woman. It is very, very costly. And I must say that the things, even the general toll that it takes on you organizing a campaign as a woman. For example, if you're organizing like Karadi or Kampala Woman MP, and you have to sit down all your representatives in parishes, you have to handle the final election, making sure the votes are counted, making sure you have someone at every polling station. It is really expensive. It cannot, of course, be discounted from that of a man. The expenses are the same. Yeah. But for a woman, it is not even only financial. It takes a toll on your family. It takes a toll on you emotionally. And I would also want to comment, by the way, about the issue of women's participation in Parliament, the one that you were mentioning. And I'd said something, but I think I didn't expound on it properly. I was trying to say that at some point we have to train men to speak about women's issues. If the women are not participating, I don't know what our women's rights activist Charity would say about that, because we are seeing that we have a lot of women in Parliament, but they are not doing exactly what they are supposed to do. So what should we do at this point? Like, we need to look at solutions to the challenge that we are having.
Perfect. Solution number one:
train men about women's issues. I know they don't have the same feeling, but at the moment it is the best option that we have in advancing women's issues.
Okay. Solution number two.
Solution number two is this affirmative action. It is a good thing, and of course it brings out, some women are able to go through that card and rise up. So we need to continue encouraging it. But like Madam Karadi said, right from a very young age, women need to be trained, even by the men in their lives, to be leaders, so that they are able to present the issues of women at the floor of Parliament.
All right, and your closing remarks?
My closing remarks, I would like to send all my greetings to the members of National Unity Platform, to our president. He's on a campaign trail, and we cannot join him, some of us, because we are caught up with several engagements. But I'm wishing him well, and all the people that are on our campaign trail as National Unity Platform. We are having elections for, we are having nominations tomorrow for parliamentarians all over the country. We are hoping that the exercise is going to go well. Electoral Commission should not cause any challenges to people in the opposition, because you saw last time when we were looking at district nominations, that the members of National Unity Platform, actually, who chose to be voted on the second day, nominated on the second day, some of them couldn't actually, even incumbents failed to go through, because they were. So we are hoping that Electoral Commission is going to be is going to be rational in how it is handling this matter, because this country belongs to all of us.
Let me officially invite you to be with us here on NTV to observe these processes as they go by.
I'll be glad.
We'll be broadcasting them live.
I'll be glad.
Hanifah, what are the solutions? What's the way forward? And your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. First of all, even in my submission, I've been talking about solutions, because I'm a person of, if I identify a problem, then solutions are there. That missing link, we need to work on it by building a girl child, a woman from a young age. That is a girl child. Also, I would like to send a message to women who are already there, not to really close the opportunities for those other women who are coming up, because it's a big, big challenge that women, when they are there, they don't support each other. We don't support each other. We need to wake up and support one another for the common cause, because whether you don't support me as a woman, you are a woman. We shall, end of the day, meet at the table of women. So the challenge is, if we don't perform well, the name of a woman is affected generally. So we need women out there who have already made it to support other women.
Thank you very much. Charity, what's your word of counsel? If we reflect on the last parliamentary elections, I remember there was a woman aspirant who was told, hey, your full names are 1, 2, 3. Why isn't your husband's name part of them? And that is how she was distorted in that cycle. Talk to these women that are actually preparing themselves for the journey ahead, what they should have at the back of their mind.
One, they need to have a crocodile skin. I have talked about that. Two, they need to read and read and read, because information is power, because you not go to the floor of parliament to debate issues that you don't know about. You need to prepare, you need to understand what are the issues affecting the country, what are the issues affecting women, and how do you embed the women's agenda within the country agenda. Lastly, I would like to see an increase in the number of women across the constituencies, across the women affirmative action, LCs, LC3s, mayorship positions. I'm happy that this time we have a woman standing to be a mayor of Kampala. We didn't have
two.
Yes, I think two of them.
Yes.
There is one from PFF,
Nabila, and then also Mao.
The Mao's,
Beatrice.
yes, I know Beatrice Mao.
That is the DP.
And I also want to see it coming across LC5s. We have now 8 women who have interested themselves to be LC5 chairpersons, but I would like to see that number swell.
All right.
Because the more women, the merrier.
All right, thank you so much, dear ladies, for giving us your voices, and we hope that ever so often in this cycle, when we call upon you, be ready. Just have, in your car, be ready and join us to amplify women's voice in advancing democracy as far as the governance is concerned. As we are closing this, we're being joined by our reporter Dele, who is on ground. The Electoral Commission is also on an agenda to equip journalists in covering our elections.